Welcome back to Just Scott Radio on BJPen.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 185. We got a good lineup here out of UFC Tampa, which is the final event of the year. It's going to be the final show. I'm going to still just kind of post little interviews on the YouTube channel between the breaks. But everyone have a safe and happy holidays. But first, I'm going to join by one half the co-main event, and Billy Quarantillo to preview his fight against Cub Swanson. This is a big fight for Billy, fighting in his adopted hometown of Tampa and fighting a legend like Cub. He knows this is a big chance for him. He's coming off that disappointing loss to Yusuf Salal. He kind of wishes he never took that fight. He said there's a lot going in it, but he knows it's a big opportunity. He's fallen short when he got those big step ups when he fought like a Shane Burgos and Edson Barboza. So he thinks beating a guy like Cobb will do wonders for his career. We're then going to be joined by Drakkar Klose to preview his fight against Joel Alvarez. This fight should be a banger for however long it lasts. Drakkar coming off that some good wins, beat Joaquim Silva before then knocked out Joe Selecki on a 4-fight winning streak, fighting very impressive. And now he takes on Joel Alvarez, who's coming off that brutal knockout win over Elvis Brenner, where he just kind of dominated him from start to finish. And then we close things out talking to Davey Grant, previous fight against Ramon Tavares. Been a bit since we've seen Davey. He dealt with a bit of an injury. He was supposed to fight Cody Gibson in March. That didn't happen. He hasn't fought since July 2023. So he's really looking forward to getting back in there against Ramon. He thinks a win over Ramon should get him a ranked opponent next. But be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of there won't be a new episode. Sorry, just so you say that. But thank you all for listening and enjoy your holidays. All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Billy Quarantillo, who's back in action and out of the Apex for once. Billy, how's it going, man?
Let's go. Man, thanks for having me, Cole. It's always great chatting with you, man. Go Bills.
Yeah, for sure. First thing, I kind of texted you. I heard about Tampa. You kind of heard the same thing. I know you said it's a bit later than what you wanted to wait for, but now that it's kind of approaching, how happy are you that you are getting to fight in Tampa?
Yeah, so I've been hearing about Tampa all year. I heard it was going to be a few months ago. I heard, and then I didn't. Then for like a while, I didn't even think it was going to be a real thing. So then I was just like, man, I don't know when I want to fight. What are we going to do? But good things come to those who wait, I guess. And this is definitely worth the wait. This is like a bucket list fight for me. I'm the only Tampa resident on the Tampa Bay card. I'm at my house right now. I live about 15 minutes from the arena. So it's going to be sweet, man. I'm still trying to plan out how I want to do everything because the hotel's like right next to the arena. Do I want to stay home for the weight cut? Do I want to stay at the hotel? Again, I mentioned I have 2 kids that, sometimes they keep me up all night or wake me up super early. So I'm trying to figure that out, but those are good problems to have because I'm just super excited to fight, down the street. And I've had so many hometown people that are going to come out that probably wouldn't come to my fights that if it was somewhere else. So it's going to be just an incredible experience, and I can't wait.
Just quickly on your last fight, obviously supposed to fight Miranda, he pulls out, then you kind of get Yusuf, who I think people are now kind of realizing how good he is. What do you kind of take away from that one?
Yeah, man, it was a learning lesson. I'm still learning at this game, and it was one of those situations where I honestly I wasn't even really looking forward to the Miranda fight because what happened was my old management team at the time, they kind of dropped the ball. I was trying to, I fought Damian Jackson last April, and I knew my wife was due basically the following March. So months were going by where we were trying to get fights in November, December, January, February, and they just didn't get me anything. So it was really unfortunate. And then finally, I basically was like, hey guys, if we can't get a fight, then I just, what are we doing here? So I ended up, basically I'm a free agent now. I don't have a management team, which has been completely fine. But what happened was, and the UFC was like, hey, obviously they didn't really even know that my wife was due. And I didn't want to take a fight with my wife 8 months pregnant, which ended up happening. But I also didn't want to have my baby and then fight a couple weeks after because, as most parents know, man, the second you have that baby, it's, you're not sleeping right. You have to do so much stuff. So it was one of those things that I felt like I had to fight just because I didn't want to take too much time off and I didn't want to wait until, a few months after that. So for me, it was I just felt like I had to fight, which was like a weird position to be in. And I felt like I just rushed it. And hats off to Zalal. He did what he had to do. I look at it like it was the biggest fight of his career. He got his chance to fight back in the UFC, and I was just looking at it like I got to get this fight over with. And that's never how you should approach a UFC fight. Everyone's so good in this league, especially going from Gabe Miranda to Zalal. I think Zalal is way better than Miranda. Miranda, backed out. He's not the first guy that's pulled out against me. But again, it's a learning lesson. Hopefully, I'll get that one back with a full training camp, and now I understand how good Zalal is, and I knew he was good. Not it's not like I didn't take him. It's not like I didn't take him lightly. It was just I was rushing that whole training camp, and even during the fight week, I had my phone with me the whole time, waiting for my wife to call me to go into labor. So it was just, MMA is a very mental game, and my mind just was not on that fight at that time. So it's going to be a completely different thing going into this one. It's all I'm focusing on is Cub Swanson. I'm trying to get rid of all the other distractions, and I'm having just a totally different training camp than I did last time.
Then you get the call to fight Cub Swanson, like a legend of the sport. Like you look at who he's fought and beat. Like he's beat guys like Oliveira, Poirier, like fought like Aldo, Holloway, Edgar. Like he's fought all these top guys. So, like you get that name. Like what kind of goes through your head?
Yeah, man, just excitement. My wife was joking. She told someone else that when I got the call, my coach Matt Arroyo, who I've been with since day one, he was like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." Like, what is it? He's like, "UFC Tampa, Cub Swanson," and I was like, "Dude, my heart just sat." I was like, "Bro, are you serious?" I couldn't have said yes faster. And the UFC knows they could have given me anyone for UFC Tampa, and I would have been excited, but to give me a guy like Cub Swanson, it's just, man, it's surreal. And I'm just blessed to be in this situation where I'm still getting big names. And I know I got to go and capitalize on it, because my two biggest fights, I would say probably the Edson Barbosa and Shane Burgos at MSG. I came up short on both of those. And luckily, I kind of fought my way. I'm still in the UFC. I'm still fighting, and I just got to make the most of this opportunity. And this training camp has been one of those training camps where I'm just putting myself through the ringer every single day, training 2-3 times a day, and I just know I can't let this one off the hook.
With Cub, like obviously a legend of the sport, like guy kind of fights similar to you. Like he can drag these fights out late into the rounds. Like he is like a very good, like well-rounded guy. So kind of match up against him.
Yeah, it's an exciting matchup, and it's hard to find holes in his game. There really isn't any big gaps. A lot of times I'll go into fights and I'll just wear guys down. I'll wear them out. I'll make them, swim in deep waters with me. Billy the Squid him up. With Cub, though, I've seen some of his fights. Like it looks like he'll start getting tired, and then next thing you know, he's got even more energy in the second and third round. So it's one of these fights that I need to go out there and just beat him. Like I need to go out there and beat him with striking, with wrestling, with jiu-jitsu, with pace, with my pressure, with my power. Whatever I need to do, I need to go out there and beat him. And I did an interview a couple days ago. They were talking about how this is one that people are marking on the sheet of potential fight of the night. And I definitely agree with that, man. He's literally in the Hall of Fame with one of his fights that was that exciting. And those are the fights that excite me. So it's going to be a banger. And I couldn't be more motivated to put on a show in Tampa. And it's one of those things, like I'm like, man, I wish we were just there already, because I don't want any like freak injuries or anything like that to happen. I honestly wish we were fighting next week, but I'm going to be smart and patient, and I'm just super excited about this one.
Any pressure on you going to this one? Just coming off the loss, and then obviously fighting at home, like adds a bit. Like you don't want to like let down the hometown at all.
Now, honestly, every fight to me, there's obviously a ton of pressure in every fight. I'm going to feel it a little bit more, but that pressure, it's the same pressure that motivates me to wake up early and go to training. It's the same pressure that made me, like last night, I did a cold plunge at 11 p.m. because I knew my body would feel better if I did. So that pressure is just more motivation, where the last training camp, it was hard for me to find that, being I just had so much other stuff going on. There wasn't enough pressure. It was just kind of like, for me, it was like, all right, let's get this fight out of the way. And we got this, and this going on. Now it's like, bro, you're coming off a loss. You keep going back and forth, win, loss, win, loss. The UFC really doesn't like that. You got to go on a winning streak. You're fighting a legend. You're fighting right down the street. So that added pressure, it adds more motivation for me.
You've never lost 2 in a row in your career either. Like, why do you think that is? Like, it seems like and that next fight after loss, it seems like you always have like one of your better performances.
Yeah, I think recently I've never really done what I've been doing recently, where like I win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Usually when I lose a fight, I end up winning 3, 4, 5 fights in a row. So I got to get back into what I started doing, and that's just the old school stuff. Running, jumping rope, shadow boxing. Doing the recovery sessions, just doing everything right. And obviously, like, coming off a loss, I always have a chip on my shoulder. So coming off a loss, I always get a little bit more motivation, where, you never want to lose, and you definitely don't want to lose back-to-back fights, because, especially getting older, I don't want people to say, oh, like he's washed, his days are numbered. So again, I'm super motivated for this fight. And like you said, I've been fighting since 2010, and I've never lost back-to-back fights, and I don't plan on starting now.
How do you kind of see this one playing out with you and Cub?
I think it's going to be exciting, man. And I think if I can catch him early, it's going to be a highlight reel finish. And if we got to go into deep waters, that's where I feel the most comfortable. I know Cub, he already has a win at UFC Tampa. He fought Crone Gracie, which I was actually there. I watched that fight. So he's got the experience on his side. He's also getting a little bit older, but he hasn't let up at all. So like, it's not like the Mike Tyson fight where I'm fighting like this old guy. He looked really good in his last 2 fights against Andre Fili and Amin Hakim. So I just know it's going to be a war. I know people are going to tune in for it. You can tell I got a little black eye right here. I've been going pretty hard sparring. My training partners have been amazing for this fight. We got a bunch of guys that have really gone out of their way to help me. We've added Shane Burgos. He moved out here to Tampa, and I've been training with him every week. He's been giving me his insight. He fought Cub, so he knows a lot about him. I got my guy Matt Arroyo. I got 2 really good training partners, Blake Smith and Will Rentz. I think you're going to see them in the UFC in the next couple of years. Everything just feels a lot different than it did last training camp.
What made Shane go down there, and what's that like, training with a former opponent?
The thing with Shane was, going into the fight with Shane, I had a lot of respect for him because I knew who he was. He was in the game before I was. I think why he wanted to move was because I just think he was kind of sick of New York, which I did the same thing, man. That cold weather, especially when he has three daughters. I just think it was just a little much for him, and he wanted to kind of get away from all that. And the first time we trained together, we had a sparring session, and it felt like MSG again. It felt like we were about to take each other's heads off. And he's just a down to earth guy, and just like Cub is. We're all trying to kind of do the same thing. We're trying to put on entertaining fights, build a legacy, put food on the table for our kids. And we hit it off right away, and that made me make the decision. He's actually going to be in my corner on December 14th. Having that experience and all the fights that he's been in, he's actually been taking over. He's been teaching at my gym, Gracie Pack, and I can tell, like, when he's teaching, there's just a whole new energy, and it reminds me of like a movie when like Rocky, when him and Apollo start training together to beat someone. It's just been a really good experience, and he's one of the boys now, so it's great having him. And again, like the rest of my training partners, when you're fighting guys like Cub Swanson, they go out of their way to help you. So it's just a really cool thing. And of course, they're all going to be at the fight too. So it's going to be really exciting.
You get past Cub, like, what do you think that kind of does for the division? Like, your guy kind of always right near those rankings. Beating a guy like Cub probably does pretty big things for you.
Yeah, man. I'm planning on ending the year with a bang. And there's a lot of things on my bucket list that I still want to do. I need a top 15 win and to get in the rankings. I still need to get in the EA Sports video game. So I think a win, hopefully there, they put me in there, because that's just got some legacy stuff for me. And then just there's some names that I'll be looking at going into that fight. There's some really exciting fights that I want. Who knows how many fights I have left? I'll be 36 by the time this fight happens. My birthday is like a week before it. So I'm going to be looking hard at the rankings, and I'm going to make the most of my mic time, go out there and get a win, and then say the right stuff on the mic, and enjoy the holidays and get ready to fight early 2025.
And hopefully no more Apex for you. And you can get Marcel to stop bugging you about the Apex.
Bro, what is that guy's deal? No, Marcel's one of my guys. Yeah. He's always in my DMs talking smack, and he always jokes that I'm an Apex fighter, which there's trolls, and then there's guys like Marcel who actually does a great job. Like, I heard about Marcel by all the matchups and everything like that he used to do. So me and Marcel are cool, but I always say, like, if he ever comes to America, he better call me to check in, or else I'm going to smack him around.
Yeah, I talk to Marcel all the time. Me and him are like buddies, and it's just hilarious seeing all that stuff. But just last thing I want to touch on is obviously the gym. I know that's been going for you. How has that kind of been?
Hey, I got my Gracie pack here right here. Oh, a little confusing.
It's reversed.
That's it's been a blessing, man. It's one of those things that when ever since I started training MMA, really, it's always just been, you're one knee injury away from not getting paid for a year. And with owning Gracie Pack, which shout out to Chris Rodriguez, she's an entrepreneur that sold me Gracie Pack. She has a brilliant system that we have an outstanding kids program. Now we have an outstanding adult program as well, which I've really built up. And it's just one of those things. It's a good safety net. It's definitely going to be, I'm going to focus 100% on it when I retire. Luckily, we have a really good team there right now. So if you're in the Tampa area, if you ever want to come train, Cole, you're always welcome to drop in for free. And anyone else watching this, Gracie Pack, right outside of Tampa. It's my retirement fund that I'm going to build up, and I'm going to get seriously heavy into training the next generation. I'm training a bunch of the guys that are basically my teammates right now. And after my career is over, I look forward to it. But right now, my passion is fighting still, and it's probably going to be like that for a while.
Yeah, I like the Tampa Lightning hockey team, so I went down there like a year and a half ago. I want to go back probably next year. I want to head back.
Yeah, dude, you're always welcome, man. And especially November, December, it's still beautiful out here.
Oh yeah,
I know everyone who lives up north, and no matter where you are, Florida is a good time to visit. So I know a lot of people are going to be here in December. So I told everyone at my gym, I'm like, let's clean the place up. Let's make it look nice, because we're going to have some guests in town.
Are you going to offer up the gym to like any fighters that come by just to train during the week?
Absolutely, man. I got a few friends on the card, and I told them, I'm like, dude, you guys are more than welcome. Whether it's my gym, Gracie Pack, or Gracie Tampa South, which is the gym I trained at for years. They have a cage there. I'm open. I know like Dustin Jacoby and Adrian Yanez and Sean Woodson and all those guys that I've been boys with for years. Dude, they're all more than welcome to hang out with, come out to my gym. And I know they would do the same if I was in their spot. So yeah, absolutely. I was trying to do some kind of like open workout or something. I just don't know how I'm going to feel fight week if I want to, make myself do the extra work. But if there's a fan interest in it, we definitely could do something like that.
Well, Billy, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Of course, Cole. Take care, my man.
All right, we're jumping UFC lightweight. Drakkar Klose, who's back and actually going to fight at UFC Tampa. Drakkar, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, already back in action here. Like fought back in May. Was this a lot longer of a layoff than what you thought you'd get?
Yeah, I kind of messed my neck up when I tried to slam him, spike his head. I think I did more damage to myself. So I'm ready to get back in there though.
Obviously went down to Brazil, fought Brazilian. Like how excited to be back on home turf and not at the Apex, actually in front of a crowd again.
I mean, I don't mind the Apex, but Brazil was fun. Had a good time down there. Actually, I would live down there if I didn't have a wife and kids. But other than that, Tampa, I can't wait to go out there, put a show on for the crowd, in front of all the fans. So.
And your opponent, Joel Alvarez, like how familiar were you with him?
I'm not too familiar with him. Like I went back and watched his fights. I seen he fought Arman, um, Brazilian guy. I mean, he's well rounded. He's a tough opponent. But to me, be honest, I don't think this fight makes any sense. The matchup, but it is what it is. I guess it's just another paycheck.
I actually thought you were going to get a ranked guy. I was kind of surprised by it. Like, were you kind of expecting the same thing?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It feels like whoever wins this fight is going to be ranked 15, which I think is weird. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's really good. I know I'm good. Me and him should be fighting people ranked.
It's weird because, like, I thought your last two fights are, like, weird. Like, I thought Rafa Garcia is probably better than both the last two guys you fought in, like, a tougher matchups. Like, I don't know. I feel like you're not, like, fighting those higher-up guys that you should be.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Maybe you need to talk to Shelby and Dana White and, let me fight one of those top guys.
With Joel, like, he's a very dangerous guy. Like, all his wins in the UFC are by stoppage. Yeah, his two losses are obviously to Arman and Demir, who are tough guys. So, like, I think you kind of match up against him.
Only thing, like, that I'm kind of worried about is, he's a tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know, like, I don't think his takedown defense is real low, so I know, like, taking him down is going to be easy. But, with them long legs, he likes to throw up triangles and go for submissions a lot like that. But good thing I have a training partner that's 6'4", so I've been working with him this whole camp and, just trying to figure out ways to move it around. So.
Where has camp been, like, back? Same spot, same training partners, or doing anything different for this one?
At the lab, doing the same thing, like, I try not to really focus on him too much. I have my training partners, simulate him the best they can. Actually, the guy that I have, I think he might be a little bit better than Joel. So.
Is it going to be, like, nice not getting booed there? Like, your last fight, you were booed pretty heavily in Brazil. Now to be fighting on U.S. soil, like, is that something you're going to be looking forward to?
Yeah, I don't know why the Brazilians booed me. I kind of look Brazilian.
Yeah.
I thought they would embrace me. But no, I'm excited to fight down in Tampa. My sister lives down in not too far from there, so I have my family out there. So.
How often do your family come to your fights? Like, every fight, or just, like, kind of whenever?
Be honest, they come to all my fights, but they didn't come to the Brazil fight because they all said they were gonna come, then they all chickened out because they were all scared they were gonna get robbed or something. I'm like, come on, don't worry about that.
How does that work for you guys? Do you guys get tickets, or do they gotta buy their own? Like, as fighters, do you guys get a couple, or how does that all work?
I think we get 4 tickets to the event. So yeah. So
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys, like, had to go, like, buy tickets for people, or, like, if not, but with this one against Joel, like, how do you kind of see it playing out?
Be honest, I see a second round stoppage for me. He comes out hard. I think I'm just going to be able to outpace him and, make him bleed. And he doesn't like, when he sees blood, he doesn't like that. And, just put it on him.
Say you do finish him, it'd be a statement win. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you? I'd have to imagine a rank guy has to be next.
I don't know. I've called out Gillespie before. I called out Tony Ferguson. I called out the Beetle, Jalen Turner. Called out Benil. Did I say Tony Ferguson?
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson. But I don't know. I might as well just call out a worker or something from the venue. They might give me some random guy.
Do you know what fight I could actually see you getting is Benoit Saint Denis, who's coming off the 2 losses, like, ranked 12th, kind of in that perfect range for you. He has to fight down after losing back-to-back. Like, I think that one, or Turner, like, I think those 2 guys would probably be the most likely.
Yeah. I would love to, fight whatever his name is, Ben Saint Dubois, whatever the hell. But I know who's really been calling me out is what's his name? Grant Dawson.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, why you want to fight me? Go fight the guys that knocked you out.
When people call you out, like, do you care? Like, or is that like, do you message them like the UFC and be like, let's try to set that up, or do you just kind of be like, if they offer it?
No. For him, it's like it wouldn't even be a fight if I was to go against Grant Dawson. I'm like, we might as well sign up for a Naga tournament because all he wants to do is grapple. I don't think he throws any strikes on his feet. And when he did try to strike, he got knocked out by Bobby Green quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like if he wants to wrestle, we can wrestle. If he wants to grapple, we can grapple. But anything with fighting, I don't want to do that with him because he's not a fighter.
Fighting on the last card of the year. So like, what is kind of the goal for next year? Like, I imagine be a bit more active, try to get like 3-4 fights in.
Man, last time I said like, I want to call the shots. I wanted to fight in March. I didn't fight until May. So it's like, I don't know. You know, every time I think I want something to go a certain way, it doesn't go. So as long as for me, I just want to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So go get this win, stay healthy, and just try to stay relevant. That's the name of the game. Stay relevant.
You did mention the neck earlier. Was that the same kind of thing from the Stevens incident? Like, did it flare up again, or like was it a totally different thing?
And that was a totally different. It was kind of like whiplash, but like at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I would never recommend that to anyone to do that because it hurt me pretty bad.
Just another thing I want to touch on was Courtney. What's going on with her and her career?
She just had the baby, so she just still recovering from the baby.
Well, Drakkar, that's all I had for you anyways. Thank you so much for doing this, guy. I appreciate talking to you as always.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're jumping UFC bandweight. Davey Grant is back in action at UFC Tampa on December 14th. Davey, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going, Colin? Nice to see you again, man.
Yeah, obviously we did this interview earlier this year when she was fighting March. You obviously had to pull out. Like, how kind of frustrating and disappointing was that? Like, because it was already a long layoff, and then just kind of make it even longer because of that.
It was devastating, honest, absolutely devastating. I put so much into that camp, and like I do every camp, and it was it was a real bad injury, but yeah, things are looking great now.
What kind of how long? When were you able to get back to fully training and clear to take a fight?
So it was March. It was March when I had the surgery in March. So it was like late July, August. I was back doing most things. Oh, it was a pretty quick one considering the big scale of the operation.
Mm-hmm.
And but as soon as I went back in, like I kept myself, I did everything I could. I kept myself right, and I did everything I could to get back as quick as possible. And
was always the goal to fight before the year was up then, or was it sooner than what you thought?
Yeah, I was always aiming for it. I was pleased that Sean gave me the nod and give me the card before the end of the year. I was I'm mega happy to try to get one in before Christmas.
And final card of the year, like shaping up to be a pretty good card so far.
Yeah, it looks good,
for a
doesn't it?
fight night card in Florida. Like, how excited are you that it's in front of fans as well?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait.
Because you haven't fought in front of fans that often lately.
No, it's the last two were in front.
Oh yeah.
Sun Sao and then Marcos, and Marcos was a good one in the London crowd, But yeah, it's. I didn't mind fighting in the Apex. I didn't mind it, honest, but it's good to fight in front of the fans. I love it.
And your opponent in Ramon Tavares, like, how familiar were you with him?
I mean, I just never seen much before I got the match, so I just started watching some of his footage. Just when I got the matchup, really.
Obviously, kind of judging by his record, like powerful striker.
Yeah.
Both his losses are kind of early knockouts, or people early. So is this kind of opponent you like, where he seems like he's gonna want to stand there and like kind of throw down with you?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an entertaining fight. He doesn't shoot much. I think he's there for a scrap, and that's what I love. So like it makes for an exciting fight and a good fight camp.
A camp in Vegas or anything different for this one?
No, I've been I do what I always do, just get fit back home, train with all the guys back at TFT and SBG South Shields, as well as my own guys at SBG Bishop Auckland, and then go out to Syndicate and sharpen up for the last 5-6 weeks of camp, get really comfortable, and yeah, everything's going fantastic. I'm loving it at Syndicate at the minute.
Obviously tons of people kind of roll through Vegas all the time. Trains, like who are kind of the main guys you're working with?
So like obviously in the Syndicate camp, we've got some of the best bantamweights in the world. We've got Marab, who was the champ anyway, getting lots of work in Marab, Marine, Vince Morales, they're all like UFC bantamweights, so that's fantastic. We've had Arnold Allen in this week as well, and obviously he's a southpaw. He's great rounds and such a good guy that I know from back home. The level on the mat is unbelievable, and it's you can't not get good by training with these guys.
Ramon's from Florida, like trains in Florida, so are you kind of expecting a pretty hostile crowd for you then?
Yeah, definitely. It's all part of the business, isn't it? I don't mind being the bad guy. It's it'll be fun, get fucking boots, shout out, whatever. Yeah, it's all good.
I've asked fighters this before, and it's kind of mixed opinion. Some people like going into enemy territory and beating that hometown guy. Some guys like the hometown fight. You obviously just had the hometown fight. What do you think you're gonna like better?
I don't mind. I'm honest. Like it's all like it's all just part of the process, isn't it? It's like you just try and feed off the energy, whether it's good or bad. I'm honest. I'm not worried about it at all, and it just adds a little bit of spice to it. I love stuff like that, and it excites me.
Is there a bit of like a chip on your shoulder, just kind of like remind everyone how good you are? I think the last fight should have went your way, and like get that bad taste in your mouth in this one.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. I definitely think I won the fight. Watching the fight back, I could have done more to try and just get to sway the judges a little bit more and stuff. It's not nice when so much of your life is riding on like 3 people or even one person's decision. It can be brutal sometimes, but it is what it is. I'm going to go and right the mistakes I made last time and then make it a more dominant performance.
Who is going down to Florida with you?
So John Wood will be coming out as long as he's healthy enough. He's had a bit of bad news recently. He's with some like infection in his shoulder and stuff, but I'm sure he'll be fine. I've got one of my coaches coming out from home as well, Alex Enlund. So I've got a good team around me.
Yeah, how do you kind of see this one playing out? Like, seems like it should be a pretty fun fight for however long it lasts.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like it's going to be a great matchup. We're going to be standing and banging. That's what he's coming for. That's what I'm coming for, and it's going to be a good one, especially for the crowd. I'm going in there to knock him out. It's as simple as that. I always am. That's how I like to win. If anything comes, submission or anything, I'll take it as much as I can. But I'm going in there to try and knock this guy out.
Last 2 losses are split decisions. Like, is there a bit of a thought of like, can't trust these judges, got to get it out of there?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not the best. Look, Dana says never leave it in the hands of the judges, and I feel like I've been on the end of a couple of very questionable ones. It's no one's fault. It's just that's the way the game goes sometimes. But hopefully, the judges will have nothing to do with this one.
Yeah, well, even Ramon's last fight was in Canada, like in my neck of the woods against a Canadian. I thought he lost. I think majority of people thought he lost, and he won it. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I think like the judges is honestly like getting worse somehow, and I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like sometimes you wonder what they're watching, and like it's just people's opinions. It's So hopefully they'll have nothing to do with this fight.
What do you think a win over Ramon does for you? Like, obviously, he's fairly new to the UFC, doesn't have a huge name, but like just getting back in the win column, you're used to getting big fights. Like, where do you think a win kind of puts you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just ready to fight whoever they put in front of me. If they want to give me to guys who's just come on the roster, if they want to give me guys in the top 15, I'll fight anyone. I feel like I'm at that sort of position where like there's not really many fights that I couldn't get in the UFC. It's and it's not a bad thing because that means I'm always going to be available for a fight. Obviously, I'm wanting to try and get to the top as quickly as possible. So But as long as I'm fighting, I don't mind. Honestly, I will. I'll fight anyone, and it's a good position to be in. They could literally give me a short notice fight against one of the top 10 guys, and I don't think many people would grumble. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll just take whatever comes.
Fighting right before your birthday too, is that something you get to enjoy? I guess it kind of works out perfectly where you get the fight done and then you can actually enjoy your birthday and eat do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll be spending my birthday in Florida actually, because I'm fetching the family over and we're gonna go and like do the Disneyland and stuff afterwards. It's gonna be awesome.
What made you want to do that? Like, have you ever kids ever been, or just because you're there, you might as well?
Yeah, the kids have all been before, but it was a while ago. My youngest daughter, she was only like 6 months old, so she can't remember it. And she's like 6 now, so it seems like it's a great time for her to go and enjoy. And the boys, they'll be buzzing about coming out anyway.
Hopefully, get a bonus to help pay for Disney.
Yeah, definitely, man. I need it.
Just final thing, like you get past Ramon, like what is kind of the goal going forward for you then?
I mean, look, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I definitely want to fight again in London in March if I can. You know, I'd rather get back healthy and get back and fight London straight away. That would be the best option. I'm not bothered who it is. Like I say, I don't mind who it is, and yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Well, Davey, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yeah, no.